Welcome back to the Monday Morning Monorail podcast. This is the Disney Deep Dive with the Dawes, and joining me, I would say as he does every time, but it's not been every time because there was one instance where maybe it was just me in the Disney Deep Dive, but he's here today nonetheless, and that, of course, is my dearest friend, Landon the Dawes Dome. Landon, welcome back to the Monorail.
Always a pleasure to be here on the monorail bright and early on a Monday morning. And also, we're adding something new. We're adding a visual element. If you go on YouTube and put on your 3D glasses right now, you could, and Zoe apparently.
We will not be stooping to any cheap 3D tricks. This is when you're supposed to go, did you say cheap 3D tricks? And then throw a pie at them or something.
I'm not going to throw a pie at my computer. My computer might be old, but it's not that old. Come on, man.
Okay, well, fair enough. I won't make you damage your computer to the point that you had to replace it. So, guys, taking the next step, adding technology, adding a feature. Go out to YouTube if you're not already subscribed to the Monday Morning Monorail podcast. I don't know what you've been doing with your life, but do it now, and then you can get the M3 4D video edition every single week going forward. So hopefully this is not a failed experiment.
Look at this lovely face right here.
Yeah. Hopefully it's something that you enjoy. And
this is for the ladies right now.
Continue to do it.
Baby.
We'll see. You're going to creep people out. There, I can see the subscriber number dropping.
Fine. Let me go put my pants back on.
All right. Well,
or since we aren't a Disney podcast, we call that Donald ducking it.
Yeah, that's true. Unless you go swimming, and then it's shorts, no shirt, which makes a lot of sense.
That is true. Yeah. And he said, "What?"
Yeah. Who knows? He shouldn't have to wear anything in the water, but Disney rules, cartoon rules. Oh, look, Zoe's making an appearance on the show.
Yeah, and you'll probably hear her and her toy shortly. So just be prepared.
Okay. All right, well, let's get to the matter at hand, Landon. Today, we're going to be talking about an attraction that was a day one attraction at the Walt Disney World Resort in the Magic Kingdom, but it was something that neither one of us got to experience because it actually closed before both of us were even thought of, and not even a twinkle in our eyes.
Nope.
Yeah, so we are going to be talking about the Mickey Mouse Revue. So my first question would be, I wonder if we've got listeners out there that experienced this show, because I would love to know if it was as terrifying in person as it appears to be on the YouTube channel, because oh my goodness, it is quite startling to see, because it's characters we're familiar with, but they all look a little not right.
Yeah, the first term that came to my mind as I watched the YouTube video was nightmare fuel. So, like you said, they are characters we're familiar with, but it looks like they're like 90-ish% there. Yeah, something's wrong.
It's like you took an Ambien before going to bed, and you were maybe watching like Mickey cartoons, and this is what happened. But
yeah, it's like some Disney themed Five Nights at Freddy's stuff.
It is. It's exactly that. So. For those of you who are like us and you weren't born yet, or you just didn't get to experience it, essentially what we're talking about is this was not live action. It was an animatronic musical review. Again, we talked about it, I think, a couple weeks ago as we've been building up to Mickey's 90th birthday, which, by the way, I think is today. So happy birthday, Mickey.
Yeah, happy birthday, Mickey. Also had a ABC special where apparently he broke out a rocking drum solo.
Dude, he was rocking the drums. And that's exactly what I was going to say. All through the years, all we ever do is add to the Mickey canon of things that he can do. I mean, I think he's had more professions than Barbie. He's got, or at least as many. He's got as many skills as Barbie. But one of the things that they added as part of this show was that Mickey was a conductor of an orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
And that orchestra happened to be filled with all of his friends and all of our friends, characters from Mickey's cartoons and the Disney movies that we'd seen up to that point. So that's kind of the show. I mean, there was a bit of a pre-show where you'd go in and you heard this disembodied voice tell you that, oh, by the way, you may not know this, but Mickey's a conductor and we're going to go see a show. And all the songs that the band played. So the animatronic band would rise up out of the pit, Mickey in the middle, wearing his tux, conducting the orchestra.
He did look good in that tux. You got to be honest.
He rocked that tux, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, much like Country Bear Jamboree, there are side stages, and occasionally the orchestra would sink back down into the pit, and the side stage would open. There'd be something going on over there. So that's what we're talking about. None of it was screens. All animatronics. A lot of them. I read up to 80 animatronics, 81 animatronics in this.
I would believe it because I mean, like at the final finale, at least on the YouTube video.
Please hold. My dog's losing her damn mind.
Man, this episode's going to the dogs.
And by the way, the unedited video is what I plan to put on YouTube. So
does that mean I can swear and stuff?
No.
That's
I'm gonna
drop an F-bomb.
No,
Fart.
sir. I just mean that.
Oh man, I just went there.
I'll put this up on the YouTube so you get the behind the scenes look at what happens when we record. Like my dog losing her mind because the garage door opened and now she thinks she needs to kill her mom. So
well, that's what dogs do.
Yeah, she's a great doorbell.
While we're waiting for the doorbell to calm down, let's talk about some Disney dogs. Going back to how Donald, when he's on land, he has a shirt and no pants. What about the Disney dogs? Both Goofy and Pluto are dogs. One's completely naked and is on a leash at all times. What's up with that, Disney?
Can't really speak. Yeah, I know. It's odd. They don't ever really address why Goofy has the ability to speak. He wears clothes. He has a job. I guess he has a job. I don't know.
He's had several jobs.
Well, yeah, he knows how to play every sport you can imagine.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Sports Goofy.
Yeah, but Pluto is just Mickey's best friend, Mouse's best friend. Don't know why. Okay, let me try to jump back into what I was saying.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. So 81 animatronics on stage all at once. No, excuse me. Let me pardon myself. Not all at once, but between the 3 different stages, 81 animatronics, right?
Now, maybe during the grand finale, they might all be on stage at once. But
yeah, that's a good point. So pretty cool because I personally am a big fan of animatronics. I prefer to see stuff like that as opposed to screens. If I want to watch entertainment on a screen, I can do that at home, right here on my computer, or maybe on YouTube, like you. But I like the animatronics. I think it's cool. I like robots. I'm not really right now. Maybe I'm naive. I'm not afraid of them taking over the world just yet. So
I'd give it like 15 years. And I, for one, welcome our robot over.
Exactly. And if they're going to, I hope they look like Disney characters, and I'll be cool with it.
Maybe not these specific animatronics from the ride, because I mean, like, once again, nightmare fuel.
Yeah, it was. But anyway, I do think it was a cool experience and a unique experience. During my research, I found out that of the opening day attractions at the Magic Kingdom, this was unique to the Magic Kingdom. It was not a duplicate from Disneyland that they brought over, and Disneyland didn't have a Mickey Mouse Revue.
I wonder how many of the opening day attractions were unique to Walt Disney World as opposed to Disneyland.
Well, as we kind of went through it, I looked down the list, and pretty much every single thing that we've covered is found in Disneyland. It may not be exactly the same. We know that they change things occasionally, but I'm going down the list and I don't see anything other than, we talked about Extraterrestrial, which wasn't opening day. But
it's not opening day, no.
But that.
What about the Frontier Land Arcade?
Maybe arcade?
That? Yeah, the shooting
arcade's at Disneyland.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
We'll take that, my beliefs.
Yeah. So, but this was unique to Disney World, and that's significant. And I can tell you, not just because it's the only one, but because I read an article as I was doing my research, and basically what I read is that Walt didn't really think the parks should be identical. He wanted there to be differences, and apparently, and Fantasyland, which is where the location of this attraction was, Fantasyland was supposed to have very different attractions from what Disneyland had. So yeah, it wasn't supposed to have Snow White. It wasn't supposed to have Mr. Toad. Those were things that were supposed to be reserved for Disneyland. Disney World was supposed to have a Cinderella attraction. Apparently, it was supposed to have a Ichabod and the Headless Horseman attraction.
Oh, dude, I would have signed up for that. Of course, stupid little wiener kid Landon probably would have been terrified of that as well. Because, spoiler alert, Ichabod dies at the end.
Yeah, but we could have appreciated it now.
Absolutely, yeah.
But apparently budget constraints are what led them to just duplicate what they had in Disneyland and recreate it. But here is the great irony. Because they decided to make changes to the Disney World version, and because of the Mickey Mouse Revue, they ended up going way over budget anyway. So... We're going
to save money by copy and pasting it, except in this one instance, and it cost them.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the Mickey Mouse Revue was an opening day attraction. It ran until September 14th of 1980, so almost 2 years to the day before I was born. When at that point it was actually relocated to Tokyo Disneyland, and it ran there all the way until 2009. So there is no more Mickey Mouse Revue. And we'll get into maybe what happened to some of those animatronics in just a minute. But up until 2009, you could have experienced it at Tokyo Disneyland. Now it's
I was honestly surprised that it had that long of a run, considering when it opened at Walt Disney World all the way to its end date at Tokyo Disney. I mean, that's a pretty dadgum good run.
So not to sound small-minded or ignorant or anything, but what I would say is,
this is gonna be good.
You see entertainment that comes out of Japan. They're into some different things than we are, and I could see them digging this a little more than what the American audience might, to be honest. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just saying that's a fact. Have you seen anime?
Seriously, yeah, and you'll probably end up cutting this from the audio. You can buy dookie drawers and vending machines in Japan.
Yeah, that is not going on the podcast. That's a YouTube exclusive.
I'm just saying, like you said, they're into some different flavors than we are. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's where you can get, like, Japan is really the source where you get like the full onesie, like, animal pajamas. But
I've seen those been popping up here recently. Maybe it's just my group of friends and the people I associate with. But I've been seeing a whole bunch of those popping up over here now. So I don't know.
It's true. And let me say this: I'm not making a judgment. Don't take this as me making a judgment. I'm not judging anybody, because let me be the first to say I like some weird stuff. Okay, so I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying Japan is doing their own thing over there, and that's fine.
Yeah, no judgment coming from
that's why they probably enjoyed the Mickey Mouse Revue. Okay, moving on.
Now that you've made all of your Japanese listeners and now viewers on YouTube, made them all angry. Way to go.
I'm very sorry. Please accept my apology. I would love to share some sushi with you. So in an interview in 1962, Walt Disney talked about new audio animatronic technology. Specifically, where did it start? It started in the Tiki Room, right? And upcoming in the haunted house attraction that he wanted to build. So that was part of the inspiration here. They really wanted to take that audio animatronic technology and build something onto it and really, like, capitalize the use of it. So Bill Justice, deeply involved in the creation of the show, he wanted to make this the signature attraction of the park. And
really,
that was the idea. This was going to be an e-ticket. It was going to be the centerpiece.
Wow.
Yeah, and people trusted his judgment. This guy was responsible for animating Chip and Dale in theatrical shorts. He was also one of the key programmers for Pirates of the Caribbean audio animatronics.
Caribbean, depending on where you're from, you might pronounce it that way.
Either way, man.
And also, his name is Bill Justice. I mean, if I run into somebody named Bill Justice, I'm probably just going to defer to whatever they say. Like, yes, sir, Mr. Justice, sir.
I agree with that. But then he also brought in the help of John Hinch, who we've talked about before on this podcast, and Blaine Gibson. Both of them were experienced and well thought of Imagineers. So let's just get into talking about the show a little bit. Like I mentioned, you did have a pre-show. There was an 8-minute film. So I guess you consider that some screen entertainment that kind of detailed Mickey's career. Old, all the way from Steamboat Willie to the current cartoon, showing all of the things that Mickey had accomplished and all of his experiences. And then after that, you were ushered into the concert hall, where up from the pit rose the orchestra and Mickey Mouse. And they performed a medley of Disney songs. So things like Hi Ho, Whistle While You Work, Wish Upon a Star. And then that's when we started moving to the side. We had a scene of the Three Little Pigs. We had a scene of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. We had a scene of Alice in Wonderland. And then we had the Three Caballeros appear with Donald Duck, Jose, and Panchito. And then they would disappear and their voices would pop up around the theater. So Cinderella was there. I mean, if you guys want to go see, there's a long list. And one of the things that I thought was kind of interesting, if you go to the Wikipedia page, was trying to, like, it's kind of fun to guess, like, what do you think this particular character specializes in an orchestra? And I can tell you, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, trumpet players. It didn't really surprise me.
Yeah, I was going to say that feels about right. But when you look, it's like the Mad Hatter is rocking a bass clarinet. I would have thought him more percussions. You know,
Yeah,
maybe, like that guy looks like he could rock a mad xylophone. No pun
yeah,
intended on the Mad Hatter. But yeah,
yeah.
it is interesting. I wonder if there was any thought process that went into deciding who gets to play what instrument. If they're just like, whatever.
I don't know, because my question was, like, I think Minnie Mouse played the violin. Have we seen Minnie in a cartoon before then or since then playing the violin? Like, is it canon? Is what happened in that show canon? That's my question.
Well, I mean, it is at Walt Disney World, so you would think it might be canon. But then again, it's like you look at all the LucasArts stuff. It's like, I mean, what you once assumed and accepted as canon, no longer canon.
Exactly. They can. Hey, Thanos, no longer canon. So, thank you, Kathleen Kennedy. The axe of justice. All right, so back to Bill Justice.
But I thought Kathleen. No, she's the axe of justice. Never mind.
Yeah, she's the axe of justice. Or I kept calling her the hammer of justice, I think, on another podcast in a previous life. But anyway, just some fun facts. I mean, that's pretty much the show. You can go see it on YouTube if you're interested in checking out what that looked like. And
short runtime if you do want to go check it on YouTube. For the 83 animatronics they had and all the songs they played, I was expecting it to, run at least like 5 minutes plus. I think the YouTube video I watched had a runtime like from beginning to end, like maybe 3 minutes.
It's not long. Yeah.
No.
It wasn't long. They cram a lot. That's why it's like it's definitely medleys of the songs. They're not performing, the full When You Wish Upon a Star or anything. So that's something to keep in mind. But a few fun facts. These are some things I thought were kind of interesting about the Mickey Mouse Revue. The first is that the original theater sat 500 park guests, but the pre-show area only had room for 300. So, yeah, so that was kind of interesting. I guess it kind of makes sense because, you fill up the pre-show. That way, you've still got room in the theater. Maybe if people are showing up late, I guess. I don't know. But that is a little bit weird.
I suppose, and I guess maybe with the 300 people in the pre-show, it'll build up a queue outside to make it look like this is a must-visit attraction, possibly.
There you go. That could be another reason. So the animatronic of Mickey is in the Walt Disney Archives, and they actually brought him out for the D23 Expo in 2011. I don't know if he's made an appearance since then. But the last thing is, and I referenced this earlier, you can still find the 3 Caballeros. And Landon, can you guess where you might find those 3 Caballeros today?
Would it be in Epcot somewhere, possibly?
It could be. It might be in the Mexico Pavilion.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. So if you go ride what was formerly the Grand Fiesta Tour, I think now maybe now it's called Grand Fiesta Tour, and before it was called something else, but it's featuring the 3 Caballeros. In the grand finale scene, as you're floating off in a celebration because finally Jose and Panchito have found him, they're performing on stage together, and those, according to what we read, are the animatronics from the Mickey Mouse Revue. So I think that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is cool. It's another instance of an older attraction living on somewhere else within the Walt Disney World properties, like paying homage, or once again, depending on where you're from, you might pronounce it homage. To their past.
Yeah, it's nice to see that they're in good shape, still functioning, still in use. Much to the distinct. That creates distinction from the Stitch animatronic that we saw, which was in some sort of a nightmare situation the last time we saw a picture of it. So
yeah, once again, going back to nightmare fuel. Brr.
So that feels like a good place to stop with nightmare fuel. So Landon, did you have anything else you wanted to say to wrap up the discussion of the Mickey Mouse Revue?
No, I can't think of anything. I mean, once again, this is an attraction that came and went before you or I were alive, so we don't have that, memories of our experiences. But I mean, I do think this was a neat attraction. I don't know if it's necessarily an attraction I would go out of my way to go see if it was still, active, but at the same time, still a neat attraction.
Yeah, and in its place after it closed in the Magic Kingdom, Magic Journeys opened there, and in 87. So the theater actually sat empty for 7 years, and then Magic Journeys opened. It was open until 1993. 2003. And I actually remember Magic Journeys. That's one of those trippy memories I have. I actually thought that show, it was in Epcot first. Okay, so in my notes, this says that show used to be in Epcot, and then it was moved to the Magic Kingdom into that theater. So that's interesting because I remember it being in Epcot. So good on the old noodle. And then in 1993, it closed. It made way for Legend of the Lion King in 94, and then that was open until 2002. And now in that theater, we have PhilharMagic, which feels like a nice full circle thing because PhilharMagic is all about Mickey is supposed to be conducting an orchestra. Now it includes the Fab Five. They're there, but it's not
the
it's
Beatles.
Not like, yeah, but it's not like every character is on stage. Mickey was using his magic in PhilharMagic, so it's supposed to just be the instruments, but Donald's involved. So anyway, it just feels kind of nice because that feels like a nice bookend on the theater. It started with Mickey conducting and ends with Mickey as the conductor, although Donald messes the whole thing up, as Donald is wont to do.
I was going to say, once again, going back, you want to talk about full circle, going back to the beginning of this segment, Donald Duck not wearing pants, messing it all up.
Right, and his butt sticking out of a tuba. So that's the time when he needs some pants on. So. All right, Landon, thanks so much for helping me review the Mickey Mouse Revue. And if you want to review some of Landon's other content, you can find him on buttmuchchips.com. You can follow him on Twitter at LANDOZ.
LANDOZ. Please go follow me.
That's nice. Nicely done. And he's got a couple podcasts that you might want to listen to. Near Fall Radio, if you're a fan of the sweet science of professional wrestling. And then he also has Got Talk, Game of Thrones Talk, which I found out Game of Thrones coming back.
Yeah, we finally have not a release date, a release month, but it's better than the complete silence we've gotten from HBO. So, go keep an eye out for Got Talk. That'll be back sometime in April 2019.
Yeah, coming up. So stay tuned. Until then, you can listen to more Monday Morning Monorail, and we'll be back with the final segment. Stick with us.